What up, y'all? Today it's going to be about what is the narcissist thinking and what are they going through when you are when they've lost you forever. How about that? When the narcissist has lost you forever, how are they feeling? What are they thinking? What's going on in their head? Okay, so we all know that the narcissist will devalue and discard you right at the end, and they usually they try to devastate the ones that they're the greatest supply and the ones they need the most. And a lot of times, especially when you were, well, whether they're a narcissist or you didn't, well, when you didn't, it wouldn't matter if you did the same thing. You'd still get the same reaction. But a lot of times when the empath gets devalued and discarded, or even discards themselves, because if they discard themselves, it's just that they've taken so many hits from the narcissist that they just can't handle anymore, so it's almost like a defensive mode to leave them before you just go in completely insane. But typically you go into a depression state, and the narcissist usually they're not too off guard about, like, if you discard them. They usually they always have backup anyway. So a lot of times they're not just left out in the wind like sometimes you seem to hear. Because they have, I don't know, in my humble opinion, they have more. They have probably more than you think, at least to keep them busy. But typically, what they have, at least, I think they have like at least three besides you. Typically, I mean, that's my opinion. A lot of people some people think they have a lot of supply, and sometimes they do, and some people believe that they may have just one or two at best, but they may want you to think that they have a bunch. But anyway, they want you pining for them. They want you depressed. They want you in that sunken place, and they want you ruminating on them. They want you completely, destroyed, making very little movement in your life, not progressing in life, and this gives them supply. So it gives them constant supply when you're like this, because the whole thing is they compare themselves, and typically they compare themselves to their supply, and that's part of the reason why they one reason why they break down all of their supply, because they want them under the narcissist wants them underneath them. They may have started out in a relationship. See, the narcissist always they understand. We kind of look at our partner as an equal, a partnership, right? And the narcissist always looks at it like, oh, they're higher value and they're at a higher level than me, or the narcissist feels like that now at this point the narcissist is at a higher level than the empath, so or the target. So that's a lot of times they do come into the relationship, and with them feeling the way they do on a regular basis, and because of the way that they are trash and treat people, they are trash and they treat people like trash. They have they cannot regulate, and they have a low self-esteem, and so they also devalue you to get regulation. So for you to regulate their self-esteem and their self-worth, they have to go outside to get their self-worth. They cannot interject. They cannot I can never get that right, introspect or something like that. Anyway, they can't go inside and get their validation. They can't go inside and find their value. They can't go inside and come to an understanding and rationalize the fact of the matter that they are maybe, you know, they can validate themselves. The problem with the narcissist, though, they can't really validate themselves because they are a piece of trash because of the things that they do to people. So, I mean, part of the reason, in my humble opinion, that they can't regulate themselves is because they're always going to regulate themselves as devalued than everybody else, as low value, no value, okay? Because that's what they are. That's the thing. You know, when people always ask, like, well, you know, when is the narcissist going to get their karma? Well, their karma is every day, and it's every day because every day they wake up and they live to destroy people and to use them, abuse them, lie to them, cheat on them, and get off on the cheating and the lying as sadism. Horrible constructs. And everything is to lie, cheat, hate, steal, fear, anxiety, and to also put all of these things into their partner or into their target, because they don't have a partner. They just have targets. And to leech off everybody. When you do that, I guarantee you, if you were to live your life like they live, you would need outside validation as well. Because when you're a piece of shit, because you choose to, not because they it's not that they were born a piece of shit, or maybe that, you know, we didn't originally think they were a piece of shit. We just come to that understanding at some point because the way they live their life and the way that they treat people and the way that they operate is to piece of shit status. And listen, do you know when you treat somebody bad, and what happens? What happens when you treat somebody bad and you use them and abuse them? We've all done, walked under this construct at least once or twice in our life. Come on. So when you do that, how do you feel for the next day, 2 days, or whatever, until you fix it, apologize, and repent? You feel like shit. And if you did that every day, all day, wearing a mask, you're a complete imposter. You're an imposter. Your whole life is imposterous. Then you're going to have to get outside validation for everything. And, if you operate like it's like kind of this, it's kind of like if you ever had habits as well. When you have habits, and habits are things that are formed that are very hard to change, right? So a habit is almost something, if you do it every day, a habit is similar to an addiction, right? I mean, if you have regimented things, right? I wake up, first thing I do, I go to the bathroom and I drink a bottle of water or something. And if you do that every day, it's going to be hard to do something different in 10 years, right? So the same thing goes for them. They're walking under these habits, and these habits are all of this nature, this terrible nature of steal, kill, destroy, cheat, leech, lie, and put the mask on, and have different personalities for different groups of people, have different personalities for different targets, because they're really not partners. And after time goes by, those contracts are habits, and habits are somewhat of addictions. If it's going to take you a lot to break a habit, what do they call smoking or drinking is kind of habitual. But anyway, I wanted to get on the fact of the matter is how do they feel? So what my point was there was that you are used to regulate them, and they can only be regulated when they knock you down and stand on top of you. And so that's when they feel like they have somewhat of self-worth, or they're valued above you. This is how they rationalize it. Technically and all emphatically, they're not. And it's almost like through manipulation that this has only occurred, and abuse. And that's one of the reasons also you don't want to stay with them, because you are forming habits when you stay with them, and your habits are to be low in that sunken place, to be depressed, and to walk under their construct and be an extension of them and obey them as they're your master. And like I said, you form habits when you're with the narcissist for 10, 20 years, and you don't want to form habits in anything of an evil construct, period. So the narcissist feels validated when they go out and they get a high value target, and they knock them down to the ground, step on them, and then discard them. And then they'll stalk them, keep up with them, or view them often, because they want to see if they're still down. And if they're still down, they feel good about it. So it's constant supply for the narcissist. When you are separated from the narcissist, whether you discard yourself or you've been discarded, and the abuse has gotten to a point to where if it's habitual with them, if you've dealt with it for 20 years, it may keep you down for a long, long time, or forever. It just depends on your spirit, your heart, and if you have the heart of a lion. But it makes them feel good, and they'll keep up with you to make sure that you're below them, because that's how they regulate themselves. That's where it's constant regulation for their self-esteem, is through, if you stay down, then they don't need to see you. They just need to see you and watch you in your down state for a moment, and then they have all the supply they need until the next time they see you. The way to get at the narcissist and the way to destroy the narcissist is to heal, and to never talk to them again, and to look at them as insignificant, and to not carry like that hate and anger towards them in your heart. I know sometimes I say that, but sometimes that could be like in a moment. But I mean, in all in all, I mean, because narcissists are frustrating when when you have dealt with them several cycles, and then when you have to go back and think about it to explain things, it kind of annoys you that you actually spent that much time with an idiot like that. But at the end of the day, you will, and you probably will. So this is the thing. It's like, I'll say this, when you're going through separation from the narcissist, and it's new for you, and you're trying to break the trauma bond, and you're trying to get over it, if you have to walk around stew-faced, if you have to walk around like I right now, I feel better when I will get further if I have that pain, and that I'm pissed at them, and I hate them. To some degree, that's fine in the beginning. Whatever it takes to get over them and to move on and to never go back to them. Some people find strength in that, and I get that because I have at times. But now, at some point when, you've recovered well enough, you need to definitely make amends with it completely, to where, they're just insignificant either way. You don't have any of that hate or anger or whatever. It's just like I just don't ever want to see him again, and I don't ever want to talk to him again. And I think they're really just whatever. They're just not significant to me. It would be like seeing a stranger walking down the sidewalk and passing them, except if you see the narcissist, you'd rather just cross the street and walk on the other side of the street's sidewalk. But there is a lot of disrespect there because of how shitty they are. So you will probably never really have any respect for them. But at the same time, they gain respect from you when you quit pining over them, when you quit taking them back, and when you move on, and when they see you and you don't even acknowledge them. You just walk. I mean, if you were to walk by them, you would walk right by them. You wouldn't even say anything. And if you did, you might treat them like a stranger with the same respect you would treat a stranger, because you don't even give a damn about them anymore, but you know exactly who they are. And they do too. And when you recover, then they will always feel below you, but not until you recover. Not until you get, and when you recover, you gain your value back. And if you keep going back to them, that's when you're considered low-hanging fruit and they are always above you. And that's why they come back too, is when you start to recover, they'll come back to you to bring you back down, because they don't like the fact that they secretly compete with you always throughout life. That's why they will always try to find out where you are and keep up with you, is to make sure that you are low value. Like when they first met you, you were high value. You were a high value target. I'm calling you a target because that's what you were. I'm not saying you are when you wake up and you clear your head and you step on off into your own world by your own decisions, without being linked up to no idiotic narcissist. But when this happens, you maybe have been a high value target, which most of the time you are, and then they break you down and destroy you, and they're in the hopes of that they can keep you like that forever. But when you heal and never talk to them again and never take them back, they respect you, and it kind of irritates them, and they're really irritated by it, because we have the ability to self-regulate, and we have the ability to stand in our own 2 feet, in our own 2 shoes, and to stand tall and to be independent. And they will never be independent, and they have to always depend on people for energy, for supply, to steal, to lie, and to cheat. Their construct will never change, and they know it. And the next thing is as they get older in age, and we're already getting older in age. It's not like we're 18 anymore. Most of these people that are on this channel, right? Or all these channels, I mean, you're usually in your 30s or your 40s already. But it starts to dawn on them at a certain point that they're not going to heaven when they die. And it's not funny, or it's not something for us to even laugh about, because it's their soul that's at stake. But I was saying that you could walk around in that anger or whatever if it makes you get through it, but at some point you'll come to, once you get over them, and you get over that anger or hate or whatever from all the stuff that they have done to you, and respectfully so. I don't judge that. I went through it, and I wouldn't want somebody to judge me and how I felt for all the stuff that I went through, that they put me through, and how destructive they are and how evil they are, and that sort of thing. But you'll actually feel really bad for them. But I don't want you to go down that road if it's going to make you weak and want to take them back and help them or whatever, because you're not going to help them. They're kind of unfortunate for them. uh, I think that their soul is so overtaken by the enemy that I don't think that there's anything anybody can do, and I really don't know if even God cares to help them in their reprobate state of mind. Like it says in the word, there's a scripture in there that talks about how reprobate, and God made them reprobate, seared their heart and their minds, meaning he gave up on them because they were so destructive, and even in his eyes he was so ashamed of them that it's almost like they gave themselves so much up to the dark side that there's no coming back. It was blasphemous. I mean, that's kind of the way I understand it, but that's just my own take on it. And I'm not a professional in any of this, but I have a lot of personal experience, and I think personal experience goes a long way. But yes, when you are away from them, they don't want you to heal, and they regulate themselves through their supply, and they need you for validation. They need you to keep them distracted from themselves, and they need you for your attributes. They're not just parasitic to your energy. They're not just parasitic to your money. They're not just parasitic to your love, but they're also parasitic to they know that you're connected to the Almighty, or at least more than them. I mean, I can't speak for all of y'all, but the narcissist is completely cut off from the Almighty. So for them to be in the presence to some degree of somebody that does have light in them, that I think does help them feel some comfort for a time. But like I said, they're constantly drawing off of your light. So it's almost like they need it, but we repel each other, because the children of the light and the children of the darkness will always repel each other. You cannot have light and darkness in the same spot. And that's why hell is down below, and it is separate from heaven, because we repel each other so much that we have to, when we go from here and we go in our spirit realm, that we have to be so far and separated from one another, because we repel each other so bad that we have chosen, or we are separated in our afterlife. And you do not want to be a children of the dark, because not only will you be tormented here on this earth with no fruit and no value, and no satisfaction, but when you leave from here, you'll have it will be damning, destructive, and to a point to where you will have to face being blotted out, to never have existed. And there is a beautiful life ahead of us for the children of the light. So to keep your light bright. And what does it say? It says in the word, hide it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine. You know? And that's the light of God that's in you. And so you got to let it shine. You just can't give it to swine, because they will trample over it underfoot, and they will drag you into the pig pen, and they'll sling mud all over you if you let them, but only if you let them. They're in the pen. They're in the pig pen, the muddy pig pen, eating crap. And you can only be destroyed if you follow the pig into their world. And that would be the narcissist, the swine. You can only get destroyed by the narcissist if you go into their world, into their fairy tale. And their fairy tale, in all reality, is behind the fence where the swine are in the mud. So you don't want to go into the pig pen and have them behind you locking the gate. Because when you're in that fairy tale, you're in behind that gate with nothing but more pigs, more swine, and nothing but mud and crap on the ground. And that's not something that humanity is used to. And they will sling it all over you, and they will bury you in it and strip you down and leave you like the prodigal son was when he came to himself and he ran back to his father, and his father was the Almighty. That was what the parable was suggestive of. Run to the Almighty when you get in trouble. So they want you concerned about them ruminating them, but when you get up and you dust yourself off and you switch up your energy and you start transforming into somebody that's stronger than ever, making more money than ever, building a new business, growing a second income, advancing in your degree, getting wise to the enemy and his tactics, and walking in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from the Almighty, wearing nice clothes and getting you a new style and helping others out genuinely, and not like a communal narcissist to get, supply off of it. Walking in your true authentic self and walking it out with success and shining while you do it. So grind every day and shine every day. But if you can't shine right now, you double and triple grind right now. And I promise you, you'll have a smile on your face and you will have fruit, and you won't think about them, and you will be happy in life and well fulfilled. So give me a thumbs up, give me a like, subscription, and stand tall. Peace out, soldier up. Love y'all. God bless. Peace.